Hello, I am Reverend Irene Smith, and I'd like to welcome you to Generationally Speaking. Here at the table, we come and we discuss life issues, no matter what they might be. As we sit at the table with each generation, we all learn, we all grow, we all are inspired.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Generationally Speaking.
Come on in the room. Come on. We're going live. Again, cooking with Sanetra on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. It feels like April and not March outside. So come on in the room. Come on. Thank you for joining us today. We're getting ready to make some chicken vegetable soup. One of my grandfather's old staples, So come on in the room. Come on, join us. We're going to have chicken vegetable soup. We're going to make some cornbread. Just come on in the room. Come on. Just everybody just come on. Tag somebody. Tell them come on and join us as we make this soup. This is another cold weather type thing. Come on. Yeah, go get you something to drink. Get you some water, some tea, some lemonade, whatever your beverage of choice is. Some potato chips, some fruit. Come on in the room and just sit down and join us. Put your feet up. Relax. I know you're feeling good. You didn't spend any of that money on yesterday. So, just come on in the room. So, again, welcome. Thank you for joining us. As you can see, but before I get to that, thank you for joining Cooking with Sanetra on this Saturday. Brought to you on behalf of GenerationallySpeaking.tv on YouTube. Please go on YouTube and subscribe to our channel. We sincerely appreciate it. So today, I'm alone. I'm by myself. My son Richard, he wasn't able to join us today, but I'm sure he's watching somewhere. So it'll just be me and all of my personalities here with you all today. And we're going to be talking about the ancestors and what they did and how they cooked, and some family members that I do things like they did them and things that I do on my own. So today we are making chicken vegetable soup. Growing up, my grandfather always made a tomato-based chicken vegetable soup. So with the red sauce. Some people make it just with chicken broth, but I make mine with with the tomato-based sauce. So I already have 4 things of low sodium chicken broth boiling here, and I added in a couple bouillon cubes and about 8 cups of water. So we already have that boiling here. Oh, it's a little hot, so let me take this top off so you can see what we have going on here. You can see it's brewing up. So one thing about cooking with broth, you don't have to add as much seasoning because it's already flavored. Again, I'm using low sodium chicken broth, and I have my chicken here. And what I did, I'm using chicken breast. When I was younger, they would boil the chicken for the chicken's vegetable soup and things like that. As I got older, I don't like boiled chicken anymore. So I will cook it on the stove or bake it in the oven before I add it to my chicken soup. So I butterflied 4 chicken breasts earlier, and I seasoned them and I cooked them on top of the stove, and then I shred them apart. So that's what I have here. I have corn, I have lima beans, I have peas, and I have some al dente macaroni. My grandfather always put macaroni, and he always cut up white potatoes in his too. But I didn't want to do white potatoes, so I didn't do them. But I remember, the soup always had white potatoes and macaroni in it. So I'm going to start by adding the chicken here. And again, the broth is already hot. You know what? I've already washed my hands, but I'm going to wash them again because I'm going to pick up this chicken with my hands. I'm one of those cooks where I like touching my food. So I wash my hands a lot when I'm in the kitchen. Okay. So I'm just going to put it in here and be careful because it's hot. So you don't want it to, splash on you. So just be careful when you put it in the pot. And once you get some of it out the bowl, you can just pour the rest of it in there. It's real hot. And again, once I cook these, I let them cool off, and I just pull them apart with 2 forks. Just pull them apart into pieces. And I season them. I have this season mix here that I always mix up 3 or 4 of my favorite seasonings, and I use it on a lot of different things that I cook. So that's what I season the chicken with. Okay, so that's in here. So we're gonna put that in here. And you can tell this is one of my favorite pots because it makes a lot. That's why I use this pot a lot. When I'm soups and pasta sauces, I just don't cook a little bit. So I have the chicken in here, and then I'm gonna add the macaroni because it is al dente, so it still needs to cook some. I didn't want to cook it all the way. So I'm gonna add that in. And like I said, Richard's not here today, but he'll be here the next time, or I may be reaching out to someone else, asking you to come in with me one Saturday and just join me in this experience. And maybe you might have something that you want to cook or want me to cook, and you want to join me while I cook it. So that may be an opportunity too. I know my cousin Donna, after the last episode, she looked at the video, and I told her maybe one time she can come down here. Her thing was only if she could take some of the food home. So we'll have her one Saturday too. So that's that. So we're gonna add the lima beans. Now, I use canned vegetables. I have a thing about using frozen vegetables. I just think they're mushy. So I don't use frozen vegetables when I make stuff like this. Now, Del Monte green canned vegetables and Jolly Green Giant. The difference is Green Giant are high in sodium, and that's because they flavor theirs with sea salt. So I don't know if you have a preference. I'm a Del Monte person, but I know I'm gonna making cornbread, and I ordered the stuff online, so they replaced my Del Monte with Green Giant cream corn for my cornbread. But just watch out for stuff like that. I know if you have high blood and things like that, and you don't like a lot of sodium, just when you buy even canned vegetables, you can rinse them off, which I do. So I have lima beans. My husband loves lima beans. I don't cook them often. Maybe I should cook them more often, because I don't think I've ever cooked lima beans, just lima beans. But I'll have to ask him about that. So I'm getting all the vegetables in here. Then I'm gonna add a couple of bay leaves just for flavoring. And of course you'll take those out once everything is cooked all together. And what I want to mention, while things are cooking, while the soup is cooking and the cornbread are in the oven, I'm going to show you, I have some sweet potatoes that I just want to talk to you about, the sweet potatoes. Okay, so we got almost all the vegetables in here. You see, this is going to be a lot of soup. Okay. The diced tomatoes. Woo, it's going to be a lot. But I'm sure it won't go to waste. So a little tomato paste. You know, it takes a minute for it to get in here, and I don't want to scratch up my pan, so. And I'm just going to let this cook together. And then once it gets going, I'll taste it, because again, because of the chicken broth, you don't need as much seasoning in this like other things, because the chicken broth has seasoning in it. Even if it's low sodium chicken broth, it still has a flavor to it, and as well as the bouillon that I put in here. So I had this water over here in case I needed to add some water, but I don't think I'm going to need to add any water to it. So this is a 12-ounce can of tomato paste, but as I mentioned last time I was cooking, you don't need to cook as much as I'm cooking. Like I had 2 cans of corn, 2 cans of peas, 2 cans of lima beans, 4 chicken breasts that I butterflied. So that's a lot. If your family's smaller, you don't need as much. So you would cut it down. I did almost a pound of macaroni. What? And butterfly, for those who don't know, because some people might just cook the chicken breast like it is. Butterfly is when you slice it down the middle and you lay it out flat. And then I tenderize it a little bit with the little meat tenderizer to thin it out for cooking. So while this is cooking, let me, and I put a little bit of oil in the pan and I cooked it on top of the stove. See, this already has a lot of flavor already without even adding any seasonings or anything. So, and of course I have my sugar because my grandfather put his sugar in, my grandfather in the sugar. So this is a whole cup of sugar, but I'm not going to use a whole cup, maybe 1/3 a cup. So that's all I'm going to use of that. And then I'll taste it once it cooks down to see if I need any more in here. So we're just going to give this the opportunity just to cook down. And again, I'm going to put some pepper. I'm just going to add some pepper in here. And I'm looking at my seasonings. One of my best friends, Jennifer, when she came up here, she was like, "You buy large seasonings like this all the time?" She said, "I buy the little things. I don't buy most of my, especially my primary seasonings, I buy the large ones like this." And she was like, "You buy those big seasonings?" Yes, I have to buy the big seasonings because I cook a lot. So I miss you, Jen, thinking about you. Okay, so we're gonna, because this tomato paste still has to cook down. So I'm gonna put the top back on this and I'm gonna let this cook down. And then I'm gonna talk to you about these sweet potatoes here. Okay, so I have some sweet potatoes here. Now we get our sweet potatoes from Larry Holmes down in Virginia, off the farm, straight off the farm, and call it psychological, but they taste much better than the ones in the grocery store. But the only difference, of course, since they come right out the ground, they have a lot of dirt on them. But even if yours don't look like this when you get them out of the grocery store, believe they have a lot of dirt on them in the grocery store too. And I'm going to show you how much dirt they have on them. And if you've ever noticed, if you are a person who boils your sweet potatoes, you'll notice the water even gets a little black when you boil the sweet potatoes. So you can't just rinse them off. You have to physically scrub those sweet potatoes to get some of that stuff off of them. Okay. So I'm going to show you this water. Even with me just running water on them. So just running water on them, you can see how dirty this water is already. So you always should clean your sweet potatoes, whether you're getting them off the farm or getting them out the grocery store. And all I do, I'm going to show you what I do to mine. I take one of these little scrub things, and I just scrub them and just scrub them. So you'll see the difference in the way they look. Like now, they're still dirty. And once you start scrubbing them, and then I'll rinse them in, of course, cleaner water, they even look different, once you get all the dirt off of them. Okay. So just as a primary caution, please always wash your sweet potatoes when you get them. Even if you get them out the grocery store, you still need to wash them. Now, I'm a person who, I don't boil my sweet potatoes because to me, it takes all the sweetness out of them. I cook them in the oven. So that may be something that you might want to think about doing rather than boil them on the stove, because I know a lot of people still boil them, but I put mine in the oven and it keeps a lot of the sweetness in them. So we get ours from Larry Holmes down in Virginia. And quick story, you never know who knows who. So he's one of my mother-in-law's contacts, and he sells greens and yams and all different type of vegetables. And we get them from him in early fall. And I went to pick up our sweet potatoes one time. And I was driving the truck, and I had Virginia Union alumni tags on the truck, and his nephew was with him. And his nephew was like, "Oh, you went to Union?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh, well, you know, my sisters went there." He was like, I'm not sure if you know them." And when he told me, he was like, "You know Yvette and Doreen Dunaway?" I was like, "Oh my God, those are two of my." I love when I tell you his sisters are two of the sweetest women you ever want to know. So you never know who you're entertaining. You never know who you're going to meet. I mean, it's just a small world, but as we progress in doing these different food series, when it's time to order greens and sweet potatoes from Larry Holmes, we'll make sure you get his information, especially those sweet potatoes, because he run out quick. So I ordered 3 40-pound boxes this year. What I do, because like this time of year, if I want a sweet potato, I'm spoiled. I don't go to the grocery store to get them anymore. So what I'll do, I'll cook them a little bit, peel them and slice them and put them in the freezer. So I'll have them if ever I need them. So that's something you can do too, especially when you get his sweet potatoes, because I'm telling you, they are delicious. You don't even need to add a lot of stuff to them. You can just bake them, slice them, put a little bit of brown sugar and butter on them. You know, and my mother, who she said she just put butter on hers because they're just that sweet. So when it's time to order, we'll make sure we get you Larry Holmes information so you can order some sweet potatoes from him. Okay. So again, like I said, this is my own little seasonings I add in here. I use like 3 or 4 staple seasonings: accent, seasonal, garlic powder, parsley. But I think this is just accent, seasonal, parsley, and pepper. But this is my main trifecta of seasonings that I use for everything. So this is what I seasoned the chicken with this morning when I gave it a slight fry on the stove before I pulled it apart to put in here. So this is going to take probably about 20 or 30 minutes to cook, and while just to get all the flavors and to get boiling good. And we're going to do some cornbread. I'm going to do store-bought cornbread, and I'm just going to elevate it a little bit. But either next month or the month after that, I'm going to make from scratch cornbread. I was at one of my soror's house last night for a get together, and she made sweet potato cornbread. And I don't eat everybody's food. When I tell you that cornbread was so good, so I'm going to make some sweet potato cornbread. And if you ask my son, I don't know how I raised him like this. He thinks if you cook greens, you have to have cornbread, or vice versa. So whenever I do the cornbread, we're going to have to do some greens too. So just know we're going to have greens when we do the cornbread. And just thinking shows ahead, I think next month I'm going to do some turkey fried steak, smothered turkey fried steak, because I know a lot of people, they eat just turkey and chicken and fish now. And my husband, he doesn't eat pork anymore. So I might cook me pork chops and cook him turkey chops, but I've elevated a little bit. So I'm going to do that next month. So just be on the lookout for that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this off of this eye and put this on the stove. And then I'm going to start prepping this cornbread. So I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. So while our soup is simmering, we're going to do some, my famous word, elevated cornbread. I'm using Jiffy this week. And like I said, the next time we're going to do scratch cornbread, but I'm using Jiffy this week. So I'm going to do 2 boxes of Jiffy. And Jiffy is really easy. 1 egg, 1/3 cup of milk, and whatever else you want to add to it. So to mine, thanks to my sister, I saw her cook this years ago. Adrian, I love you. She adds cream corn to hers. So I'm going to add cream corn to mine because I always do now. And my cousin Mary, may she rest in peace, she used to add sour cream to hers. Now, I've never tried it with sour cream, but maybe one Saturday we'll try it with sour cream in honor of Mary. Okay. So we have 2 boxes. Like I say, 1 box, 1 egg, 1/3 cup of milk. And I add sugar to mine. Y'all know I don't measure it. I did say unless I'm baking, but I was talking about cakes, not cornbread. So 2 eggs. 2/3 cups of milk. And before I add the sugar, oh, hold on, I'm simmering a little bit too much back here. I'm gonna actually cut it down. Okay. So I'm gonna mix this up before I add the sugar and the cream corn in it, just so I can get it together. Because you know, if you make cornbread, you know it's real stiff because you don't add a lot of ingredients to it. So let me just mix it up really well here, so you can see it. Just mixing it up, and like I said, this is 2 boxes, and I think 1 box make like 8 little muffins or a little pan. And the next time we're going to make the sweet potato cornbread. And so Rwanda said she would give me her recipe, and I'm so excited about that because I know some people don't share recipes, and I know I'm one of those. I don't share all my recipes. Some recipes I do share. There are a couple of that I haven't shared with anyone other than my son and my cousin Nita. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of sugar. And this is a large cup of cream, can of cream corn. I'm going to add about half a can. If you want to make this pretty, I've seen where people will add parsley flakes to theirs. If you've ever been to the Croaker Spot in Richmond, they have a cornbread on their appetizer menu where they drizzle with honey. We might have to make that one Saturday too. That can be like an appetizer or a dessert cornbread. Okay, so this is all together, and my oven is ready. So cook your oven, put your oven at 400. I don't know about you, but growing up, I always cooked with gas stoves. And once I moved to Southern Maryland, that changed. But I'm used to electric stove now, but it was something about that gas. And I had to learn the hard way that once you turn the electric stove off, it keeps cooking, if you didn't know that. So don't say, I'm going to turn it off and leave something in there and it'll be okay. No, because it's going to cook for another 20 minutes. Just the FYI. And I know I mentioned earlier that I don't like boiled chicken anymore. It's just something about the skin. Even though, you know, your taste buds change the older you get. So that's why I either bake or fry the chicken for my soup. But funny story, my cousin Nita growing up, like, I love chicken. Lord, if somebody told me I had to stop eating chicken, they was just going to have to start slow walking behind me right now because I can eat chicken every day. So, but she has never liked the skin. Even when we were younger, on fried chicken, and here she is, she's over 50 now, and she still doesn't like the skin. But I know I don't like the skin on boiled chicken. It's just something about it. But I know when I cook chicken and dumplings, because you're supposed to use a hen, and as the chicken is cooking, I will pull the skin off so it won't be in the chicken and dumplings. It's psychological. I know it is. Don't blame me. Okay, so we're going to put this in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. And when we come back, the cornbread is going to be ready. The soup is going to be ready. Then we're going to have some of our taste testers come in and taste. Have some of our soup, have some of our cornbread, and we're going to, bring it all together for a meal. Okay, let's put this in the oven for about 15, 20 minutes. Okay, just remember that. Okay, let's cut the timer on. I'm going to put it on 18 minutes. That's in between 15 and 20. And we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. The cornbread is done. It looks fabulous. A tip, since you're putting the cream corn in there, let it cook an extra 5 or 6 minutes because of the cream corn. So we've taken the cornbread out the oven. I'm turning the soup off. I'm gonna slather some butter on top here. I was looking at an Instagram post from he's a reality TV star Red down in Atlanta, and one of his friends were having a discussion about how the butter's supposed to go on cornbread, and he said you're not supposed to put it on the top. You're supposed to slice it and put it in the middle. But I'm gonna put it on the top, and then when you slice yours, you can put it in the middle too. Okay, so that looks good. And again, one time we're gonna do the syrup, drip some syrup on it. Okay. So let's look at this soup. It's looking good. That's boiling. It's looking good here. And it's ready. And I'm going to get some tasters over here. I'm going to get somebody. Irene, you want to come taste this for me? Or Mel, or both?
Both.
I'm going to have to get a different color tablecloth when I do this red sauce stuff.
Slow with it. Slow.
Okay, blow
Blow it. Blow it.
because it's hot.
Okay. How is it?
It tastes fine.
It tastes fine. Okay. Oh, pretty good. Okay, we went from fine to pretty good. Okay, Irene, let's.
That is delicious. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
That's delicious.
So let's put it in a bowl here. You know, we're going to dress it up a little bit and put it on a plate with a piece of cornbread. See how it's going to look here. Now I have my knife to cut my cornbread. Now for your nonstick pans, don't use any razor sharp knives in your nonstick pans. This is one of my cake pans here. So I got to be careful because you know that'll mess a cake pan up. So I'm just going to slice it. Oh, it looks so good. I got some greens in the refrigerator. Ooh. So I might just have to, you know what? I think I should put this out on the plate. What y'all think? Like I done cooked it in a cast iron pan. That's what they do when they cook it in the cast iron pan. They pour it out on the plate. Make it look like cake. You have it? Okay. I have my little thing on the bottom that I use for my cakes. So now that we done turned it over, we're gonna have to put some butter on the other side too. So, so let's slather a little bit of butter on the other side. We already got butter on the top side. Okay. Okay, so let's cut this and put it on the plate. That looks good. Woo, that looks good. Get me some soup here. And again, because I used the broth, I didn't have to put a lot of seasoning in it. And you all know from the last time, I love my food to be seasoned. And if it wasn't, I wouldn't tell you it was. Okay. There you go. So here we go. This is for one of those days you just want something nice and warming on what, because we still have cold days ahead of us. Please don't think the cold days are gone. So this is our chicken vegetable soup and our elevated cornbread. As you can see, everything, you see the al dente pasta, it cooked a little more, so it's a little cooked now. And everything is coming in here together. All the flavors. And I would freeze this too. The only thing about freezing, when you take it out of the freezer, just let it thaw all the way, because of the macaroni, you don't want it to be mushy. Okay. So again, thank you for joining us today. Cooking with Sanetra. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, generationallyspeaking.tv, and we're on you can find us on Instagram as well as Facebook. And next month we're going to do turkey fried steak, fried and smothered, and maybe we're going to put it over some grits. I think so. I think we're going to put it over some grits. So as I keep telling everyone, please stay safe and stay sane, and I'll keep you in my prayers. Have a blessed week.